Who's the next conference for you with the most competitors to do this thing?
That would be the Big Ten.
I would think so too.
Yep.
Sure would hope so.
There's three sort of automatics: Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon.
You're putting them in no matter what?
I'm putting them in.
Okay. I feel good with you saying that.
I just think those three.
You took three from the SEC and you said, I feel great about those. Three from the Big Ten you feel great about. Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon.
Yep. And a lot of that is, when you look at this, it's total talent. And they just have total talent. And I know Bud Elliott does his blue chip ratio every year in terms of got to have like 50% or greater of 4- and 5-star guys that to be able to win the whole thing. And these are teams that definitively have that in the Big Ten, plus have really, really good play. It's kind of like when you're picking teams for the next to win a championship and stuff and like do well. It's a given. Like Georgia has a lot of question marks that we just talked about, but there's also a lot of talent that is there that is there that have been highly, highly recruited, and so they're going to step in. They're going to be successful. Their ceilings are higher, and that you'll see that in the draft, right? So I understand exactly what you're saying. So Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. Next tier, I'm interested. My next tier was I want to know if you got this team on here, USC. Yes, they're in my list of possibilities for this conference.
I am super interested to watch USC this year. Like, super interested. And when you look at their schedule, here's the hard part about their schedule, but here's the good part. I'm going to give you both sides. They've got some serious challenges on the road, like at Notre Dame, at Illinois, at Oregon. Like that is a tough stretch who are all going to be on our list for playoff contenders. But what if you steal one? Like, steal one of those, and now you look at taking care of business at home. Missouri State, Georgia Southern, like they got to go to Purdue. They host Michigan State.
Yep.
They host Michigan, which is good, and then they host Northwestern. They got to go to Nebraska. They host Iowa. UCLA obviously doesn't matter; it's in the same state, same place. That schedule is not the worst schedule in the world. And I think it's just a matter of how you feel about Lincoln Riley and what he's been doing while he's been there at USC.
And also, too, I think when you look at these schedules, we talked about this previously. What if there's a whole bunch of teams that are 9-3 that are right in that ranked 10th ranked team to the 20th ranked team, and you've got 10 teams that are 9-3? How are you going to distinguish them? And it might be who beats who in a head-to-head, or who has the better non-conference win, that kind of thing, where you've got the fourth SEC team or the fourth or fifth Big Ten or SEC team. Like, and that's a possibility. It was last year. You had the SMU getting in the championship game and being ahead of those SEC teams. So does one of those ACC teams fall back potentially, and you've got a whole bunch more so that are 9-3? Then these teams definitely as possibilities. I got all three of the I's: Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa as possibilities, because, and we talked about Iowa with the Gronowski kid coming over to play QB. Ruggiero with the slow mesh, their offense being different. Does that become something?
Thought process.
The schedule is sort of favorable for them in terms of home away. Do they get Iowa State in that game early that it props them up a little bit? That's one. Michigan was also on my list.
Yep. Michigan has to be because of the talent, like we talked about with other teams. Like they're going to recruit elite talent. And here's another thing with Michigan. Like every year, speaking of Feldman's list, every year there's more guys on that list every year. Like it's like, oh, the next guy. And I haven't read the list, but I'm sure there's Michigan guys on the list. Like it's just they find those corn-fed mules, and they have great defensive line play. Can the offensive line play get better? Do their weapons get better? I mean, they've obviously had big wins even when they haven't had great seasons the past couple of years. So that OU game, I think for them, I think that OU game is an elimination game. Like whoever loses that game is possibly not going to the playoff because of that out-of-conference loss. Like, because everybody else is going to be, like you said, everybody else is going to be in that range, I think, and competing. And I think they're going to lose several other games. And so that will be a big out-of-conference game that will really matter.
Now, and if you lose that game, you now have to have a massive win to overcome with that.
Somewhere else.
If you're Michigan, you got to go beat Ohio State again. You've got to. Which
they hadn't had a problem doing that.
They haven't had a problem doing that, but that's something. It becomes a have to versus more of a thing that you.
And they got to go at USC, which is interesting. But if you look at Michigan's schedule, just tell me where Michigan's going to lose a bunch of games, Brent. Like, I'm going to read it to you. Like, OU obviously is a big game. Don't give me New Mexico. I'm not worried about New Mexico. Yeah. Central Michigan at Nebraska, host Wisconsin, at USC, host Washington, at Michigan State, host Purdue, at Northwestern, at Maryland, Ohio State.
Like, there's 7 wins instantly.
Easy.
If you're competent, like, on offense, like the step that they could take offensively.
And it's okay if you lose to Ohio State. You beat Oklahoma. You got a good out-of-conference game. I think that's going to be a big game for them. Like, and Nebraska, like, that's a big game going to Nebraska. Do you have them on your list?
So that was the only other team on the Big Ten list that I had. So at 9 of the 8, I had 9 of the 18 in the Big Ten as potentials. And I did have Nebraska because they get that game, and they get that game against Michigan at home. And they only have to play Penn State.
Have you seen their schedule to start the season? 5 straight home games.
Yep.
Like, that's a tough place to play.
Well, the first game's in, like, Arrowhead, I think. The first
that's right.
Like, neutral
Kansas
site,
City. That's right. But
against
Cincinnati, and then you got Akron. For $4 million without cheating, can you name Houston? Their second game is Houston Christian. Their name's Houston Christian. For $500, can you name the mascot?
No, I got no shot.
Houston Christian.
It looks like a husky.
Huskies.
It looks like a husky on the picture, but I wouldn't have been able to name it without seeing the picture.
So I think they're going 3-0. Then they host Michigan, and then they host Michigan State, and then they go to Maryland, and then they go to Minnesota. Like, they could have a lot of momentum going. Listen, Raiola is one of the he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Like, I feel really he's one of the more talented quarterbacks in the country. He was highly rated for a reason. Like, that dude was elite of elite and you saw, listen, don't give me the Mahomes stuff, but just the arm angles and the different creativity to be able to make plays and throw the football. He's going to take steps forwards. Matt Rule's program is going to take steps forward. Like, and then you couple that with that schedule early in the year, and then you host Northwestern, and then you host USC. And then you got UCLA and at Penn State. Obviously, is difficult. That Iowa game late in the season might be for something. Like, that might be for something because you got to love Nebraska's schedule. I mean, got to love it.
The additions outside as well, with Dane Key coming from Kentucky and the
boy can
Hunter
fly
kid coming from Cal, that are both big and very sure-handed receivers. Very minimal drops, both of them.
And when you watched Nebraska a year ago, they needed playmakers. They needed to have more of that in their offense. And I think that will go a long way. And again, another year in the system too is not going to hurt with Matt Rule. So Nebraska fans, is this the year? Are we finally going to take that? Because here's the thing, they had a winning season. Like, they took a step forward. They didn't do we break your heart and we completely suck. Like, they took steps forward. Do they take that next step? And if they take that next step, Big Red's going to be jacked up out of their mind because that's such an elite fan base, man.
34 teams in both of those conferences. We got 21 basically that have a chance to make the playoffs. The hyper competitiveness of the Big Ten and SEC this year is going to be fascinating to watch because
now I'm interested
a lot
in
of
the
teams
next one.
that can.